How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new locals feature match. Here we are in round 2 for the week, where we have Sky Striker on the left versus Kashtira on the right. Two decks that are somewhat different now post banless. Obviously, the one Arise Heart, you have your 2 Unicorn, and over here on the left, you've got your 3 multi-roll. Even though I don't think multi-roll was a 3 of, maybe it was a 3 of when the deck first came out. I don't remember. It's been so long. But they've got 2 engage, of course, so definitely some slight differences in these two decks. So we're going to see our Kashtira player go first. On the right, they're going to lead with Planet, adding Unicorn, special summon Unicorn, activate effect. Always a high value imperm target there to keep them off of Birth, keep them off of the Theosis, even though it always seems like they've got one or the other already in hand. But it looks like this time around they don't, as they Prosperity for 6. To dig 6 cards deep to try to find one of those extenders, and that's going to get hit with an Ash, and they're just going to be forced to set one past turn. So pretty decent hand traps there for a striker player. They're going to activate Rhoda, which means they're getting access to Ray, so already a really strong hand going into this game 1 here. Because if you don't have access to Ray playing striker, you're pretty in a bad spot, especially if this Unicorn is able to stick to the field. That means they're going to just get the effect of search again next turn. And yeah, that's going to allow things to spiral out of control. So we're going to see them normal summon Ray, and then link Ray into Hayate. We'll see them go into battle phase, attack directly for 15, activate the effect. Since it did battle, at least it'll try to attack directly, but that's going to get hit with impermanence. And so that will cut them off of access from engage, at least for the time being, as I'm sure the plan there was probably to dump and engage or some other striker spell. Of course, try to add it back with Kagari. But they're going to follow up here with a Prosperity of their own, revealing 6 Droplet, double Widow Anchor, Thrust, a Shark Cannon, and Engage. Interesting to see Droplet there in the main deck. Probably not expecting to see too much of the Kashtira deck, as Droplet is not really great against a Rise Heart. Although, you could argue most Kashtira decks maybe aren't trying to go for a Rise Heart pass, especially if you only got one Arise Heart. If it gets outed, it means you're probably in a pretty bad spot, and if you don't have a second one to go to, you might not want to make it right off the rip. So maybe that makes a little bit more sense with the main deck Droplets there. But they're just going to go ahead, and I think they took a Widow Anchor there, and then link into Shizuku, activate Shizuku effect here in the end phase to go ahead and grab Engage, and that is going to be a strong follow for them. And the Unicorn is going to activate, ripping a card out of their extra deck, so now they're down 7 cards out of the extra deck. Well, technically 9 now with the 2 they've already gone into. They hit a Zeke out of there. They're going to pass turn, and Kashtira will attempt to activate the Unicorn effect to go search. They're going to chain Widow Anchor to negate, and they've got another Prosperity now. And I doubt they'll be banishing 6 this time. They're going to go ahead and banish 3, revealing Ash, Talents, and a copy of Birth. So there is Birth, some engine there finally. I mean, Talents is probably going to be completely dead right now. I mean, they do have Ray engraved, but, the only way they're proccing Ray is if they go into the battle phase, so Talents is still dead there. Ash checks the engage next turn, which isn't so bad. But you don't really have any of your own engine going. So you're either taking Ash or Birth here. You're definitely not taking Talents. I don't think there's a world where you take Talents. And I would say Birth probably makes the most sense, although it depends on what they have in hand already. They have another Kashtira. Taking Birth makes a lot of sense, although I can't necessarily see what's in their hand right now. Could be something like a hand trap to normal summon to make Baron, and then bring back the Unicorn. Play I'm very used to doing in Speedroid Kashtira. Not necessarily normaling a hand trap, but like normal summoning a Denden Deco Duke, or summoning a Car Turbo, etc., making a Baron. Then Birth brings back the Unicorn, and then you've got a little bit more board presence there. So after a little bit of deliberation there, they are going to take the Kashtira Birth, activate Birth. And we'll see if they've got another Kashtira in hand. Would be the best case scenario if that's something like Fender. That would probably be really strong, but they do have a normal summon hand trap. It's going to be Ghost, Mourner, Moonlit Chill. And they're going to go ahead and Synchro 10 into Baron de Fleur. And then I imagine we'll see them activate Birth to go ahead and bring back the Unicorn. But first, actually, we're going to see them use Tiedeman's Kashtira, Tier Cash, fiddling with their Tier Cash, as my friends would say. And they're going to banish Unicorn to summon. They're going to mill 3. Unfortunately, they do not mill a Fenrir there. Milling Fenrir there would have been really nice, because they could have that option to bring back off the Birth there. But they end up milling 2 Ogres and an Ash. And then the Birth will bring back the Unicorn. So Tier Cash finding its way back into the main deck. I know at least this particular Kashtira player, C. Goody, the man, the myth, the legend himself. I know in the past he wasn't too fond of playing tier cash for a few reasons, but now seemingly, you know, playing it here post ban list. And, you know, it's just another name, I guess, technically, and it can mill your unicorn right off the top and bring it back off birth. Not the most ideal situation, but it's a thing that can happen. They're going to go battle phase, attack with the unicorn, and they're going to try to, you know, swing in directly again, but of course they've got Ray effect, so unicorn will swing over the Shizuku, tier cash will swing into the Ray, and then Baron will attack into the Ray, well, attack directly there, rather. And they have not used Baron's Negate yet, I believe. But we're going to see them flip up Offerings of the Doomed. And I believe that just is like a quick play that pops a monster. And then I believe they skip their next draw phase, or they don't draw for their next turn. And then on a new chain, Kashtira Birth will resolve now, banishing three cards from the opponent's grave. Pretty good here, considering you're getting rid of a lot of good spells for the striker player to potentially grab back next turn off of things like Kagari. Or set off multi-roll. Or just, you know, having more spells engraved to make Engage a better card, which we know, of course, they have in hand, which you could argue is one of the reasons why, you know, Offering of the Doom is such a good card in Striker, right? Because you don't need your draw if you've already searched your Engage follow-up, because your Engage draw is basically replacing your draw for turn. They're going to normal summon Rose, realizing that there's probably not much they can do there, especially if they still got to worry about Birth. And, yeah, I mean, they had Rose plus Engage. I'm not really sure what that gets them under that circumstance, but like, yeah, the Baron's gonna put in a lot of work there for sure. So we're just gonna go to game 2, and quick reminder to check out Imperium Duelist if you haven't already. Link to their site down in the description, as well as a discount code you guys can use to save 10% off your entire order and support the channel, as well as my TCG player affiliate link. All of that is in the description. So we're going to see Cash be made to go first here in game 2, which is not surprising. The striker deck likes to go second, but our Kashtira player ended up bricking. I believe their opening hand was Mourner, Preparation, Imperm, Duster, and Birth. So yeah, that's definitely unplayable, so they will have to just pass turn to the striker player. They're going to activate Hornet Drones. Hornet Drones will link into the Hayate. Hayate will attack, dumping the Engage, and then they're going to activate Linkage. Linkage is going to send off the Hayate to go ahead and summon out a Kagari. On summon, Kagari will get hit with Mourner, and then they'll attack in for 15 off of the Hayate, or the Kagari rather, since it was negated, so it's not at 18. So we'll stay at 15. Then they're just going to go into the Shizuku and set 2 end phase Shizuku effect to go ahead and grab a striker spell that is already not in their grave. And they're going to go ahead and fetch off a multi-roll here, and they're going to pass turn. And they're going to go ahead and activate Prosperity to start. That was their draw for turn here, so they're definitely going to go ahead and dig 6 deep. And Ash right now would be kind of insane, considering how unplayable their hand is already. And of course, we know they have Harpy's Feather Duster in hand, so that can trade with the 2 set cards that they already have. D-Shifter, Rise Heart, Pot, Mourner, Ash, and Theosis. A large majority of those cards are very much so dead, so they are just going to have to take the Rise Heart there, coming in very, very clutch considering they already have Birth in hand. And then they're going to throw down that Harpy's Feather Duster, hitting an Engage, or not Engage, rather, a Offerings to the Doomed, and a set Widow Anchor, so that clears the way for Rise Heart to hopefully resolve here. And they'll go ahead and normal summon it, and the opponent is going to be forced to banish 3 off the top of their deck. Hopefully an Engage is in there somewhere. Highly unlikely, but you know, could happen. And we'll see what they're going to banish here off of their Rise Heart. Plenty of options. They have preparations. They have Birth. Now you could say they could just get like Fenrir, right? Fenrir grabs Unicorn, and then you know you put Unicorn on board, but they've already normal summoned since they had to, you know, normal summon the Rise Heart, because they don't have a Kashtira monster on field already where they can't just special summon it. But it looks like they're just going to go ahead and grab Fenrir, activate Birth, and Birth effect to summon back is going to get belled, actually. So that kind of puts a wrench in their plans there. They're trying to get some form of their engine going, but getting shut down there despite having Duster for back row. And they're just set 2 pass. We know one is Imperm, we know one is Preparation. So I believe Preparation's only summons from hand, so that card is pretty much dead at the moment. I don't think they have any cards left in hand either. So they're just going to start their turn by linking off Shizuku into Kagari. Activate Kagari effect, targeting... Probably, it might be Engage Engrave, I'm not sure. I think Engage is Engrave. Yeah, it definitely is, because they tried to get it back off of Kagari and it got Mortared. So they're going to Imperm that Kagari, the second Kagari. 1 to go. Kagari is also boosted up right now. Well, not anymore. Well, because of the Imperm. I keep forgetting that. So they're just going to go ahead and link off the Kagari, probably into Hayate here. Yep, Hayate. And I believe Rise Heart is at 15. So he could attack directly there. But it looks like he's going to opt to just crash into the Rise Heart to get it off the board. And that'll dump Ray. Ray effect will trigger to bring itself back out. And Ray will swing for 15. And it looks like they're going to just activate preparations here. And I'm pretty sure, unless I've misread preparations, or at least the effect in my head I've misread. Kashtira monsters that is banished or in your hand. Okay, I was like thinking it doesn't just summon from hand, does it? No, it summons back from banished too. So they have that Fenrir as an option to bring back right now. And I believe our striker player does have Cosmic Cyclone in hand, so they're deciding right now whether they want to use the Cosmic on the preparations or if they want to hold it for the birth next turn, which is ultimately going to be their way back into Engine, regardless. So they're going to link it to Shizuku, swing for another 15. You know, quick effect link. And dropping them down pretty low in life points here. Because they did take... some damage during that first turn where they weren't able to put anything on board. They took the 15 from the Hayate. And then I believe another 15 from the Kagari. When they used linkage to bring that out in the battle phase. Quick play. They're going to activate multi-roll, proceed to the end phase, add Shark Cannon, activate Shark Cannon to go ahead and banish the Rise Heart. And that'll allow them to set one back off of the multi-roll. It's going to be Widow Anchor. And they'll pass turn on that. And our cash player, all they have right now is Birth and a Dream. Birth will resolve, bringing back Fenrir. Pretty good start to get them kind of back into the game here. Activate Fenrir effect. And they're just going to go ahead and take it with Widow Anchor. And they're going to pass, so they'll give them back the Fenrir. End phase. They'll get multi-roll effect here to set. And this will also proc Birth as well. So they'll get the Engage out of the graveyard. But they are going to lose a Ray. And a Linkage. And a Shark Cannon. Nope. Getting rid of Hornet Drones instead. So getting rid of Hornet Drones, Ray, and a Linkage. They'll pass turn. They've got Engage set already. Pretty good to be able to try to get through this board here. They are very, very low in life points right now, so they just need to get the Fenrir off the field, and this game is theirs already. They have another Birth in hand. So unfortunate these draws our cash players been having this game too. They're going to add a copy of Afterburner, and on a new chain, Birth will resolve to go ahead and banish 3 from the grave, as Engage itself gets banished since it was reset off the multi-roll. They're going to banish Shark Cannon, Cosmic Cyclone, and Offerings of Doom, just getting all of those spells out of the grave to make their striker spells less effective, and their link monsters have less, attack gain or attack loss. And then they're just going to go ahead and activate Afterburners, pop the Fenrir, and then just show a Rhoda, and that is just going to be game. I don't think they have to. They could have just attacked directly with how low they were. So we're going to go into game 3. And we're going to see Sky Striker be made to go first. As many of you guys probably know, Sky Striker is definitely much better as a deck going first, or going second rather, than it is going first, just because how good Hayate is, and just how good the Striker spells can be at breaking boards in general. So they are just going to go ahead and set 2 and pass, which is not super surprising for going first. And then we're going to see our Kashtira player start with the Planet. Planet's going to grab Unicorn, no droll on resolution there, and they're going to special summon out the Unicorn. Unicorn will go ahead and grab Birth. And the game could be put on board very, very easily. They have Birth, and they've already got Fenrir in hand. And this could just, honestly be game this turn, depending on what the sets are. They have multi-roll in hand, and some other cards. I can't necessarily tell what they are. Maybe could be like Triple Tactics Thrust in hand there, which would be pretty bad going first. Especially if you don't really have any plays. They do have D-Barrier. So they were expecting to be made to go first there. They're going to D-Barrier Call Xyz, so that will turn off the Chandra Era. And they're going to go and use Rise Heart to banish Ogre, as it does have 2800. Biggest main deck, Kashtira monster. And with Planet on board, they can boost it up over 3k. And they will attempt to activate the Chandra Era effect, and that will allow the field spell to proc banishing, well, destroying the last set, which ends up being a Shark Cannon here. And they're going to summon Ogre off of the Birth, and Ogre's going to add Preparations. And they have just shy of game on board right now. Everything is gaining 200, so the Chandra Era is at 200. The Ogre is at 3k, and the Rise Heart is at 17, so that's 47. That's only 4,900 damage, so they need 3,100 more damage. Yeah, I think they're just using their opponent's calculator to do a little bit of a math there. And they're going to activate Theosis, targeting the Ogre here, and yep, this is just going to be game, so they're going to bring out an Earth. That is going to be the Scareclaw cache, and yeah, they have Widow Anchor, Tactics, and a multi-roll in hand. Yeah, so that's going to do it. Sky Striker falls 2-1 to the cash deck, and last but not least, a big thank you goes to our current Divine level channel members who are Misfit, HE8 Cyber, Cadillac 84, Pony Stark, and Green. Thank you guys so much as always for your very kind and extremely generous support of the channel.